Have you wondered how it feels leaving everything behind, starting life from the beginning, and then leaving family, friends, everything that you have ever done in your home country, and then going to study abroad? Our story with you, so that we'll see where that resonates with you, and how our journey was at the time, and see how that connects with you guys, and then you guys can share your own story and everything with us too. The feeling
you're calling it diaspora now. People call it Japan these days, but you know what? Living your life. Basically, where you grew up, your family, your work,
everything, guys.
The places you go to hang out.
Friends that you have built. Like, imagine from primary school, in fact, nursery school, primary school, secondary school, university, like everything.
It's not easy. The feeling is not easy at all. It's daunting when you think about it.
Yeah, it just feels like, oh my God, what am I doing? Am I making the right decision? Especially family, you start questioning, the doubts, right? You start questioning yourself. Is this the right move? Is this the right step? And then, I don't know, there's something about moving. Things that you've been aiming for, they start to happen. You know what happened to me, right?
Oh boy. So you can't even imagine until you arrive. You can have all the pictures in your head. You can look at all the videos. You can look at all the things you've known about these places. What happened to us when we left Nigeria to move to the UK?
Yeah, so
when we left Nigeria to go to the UK, this was many years ago. We were going to do masters. It was very much trepidation, fear, worry.
At a very young age, you forgot that part.
No, for you were young. I had worked for many years. I had worked for many years. I was leaving everything I knew in banking industry to go and study in the UK. It was like,
remember, like, if you even have a good job, like we had good job, we had good careers going. So imagine that feeling, quitting your job. You're like, hey, will they keep this job for me? Sometimes you're even applying for what's it called again? Study leave. And then you're hoping and praying that they'll keep it for you, just in case things don't go the way you want. And then you just pray that your job will still be waiting. But these days you cannot guarantee that.
And even then you couldn't guarantee nothing. So leaving Nigeria to go to Scotland in the UK was a daunting period in our lives. We had gotten to this point where we were like, let's go and see what's happening there. Let's go and do a master's. I was working as a senior banking officer or assistant manager in the bank, and I was like, I am going to go and study in the UK, because when you go on vacation, you look at everywhere, you think all these London Bridge, all these big buildings, they're going to be like that when you arrive there as a student. When you go on vacation, you have your money, you're spending.
Because we both visited at different times before we eventually, decided to go and study. But guys,
if he was working in the oil and gas industry as an engineer, so she was going to offshore, she was doing all these things, oil and gas,
getting that correct offshore pay,
feeling like the world that revolves around them. I was a banker with, in Victoria Island and in Lagos, in Apapa. All those kind of things where you see people that you envy in beautiful suits, nice white shirts and tie, driving in AC cars. That was the life.
Yeah, me as a young engineer, I was enjoying my job at the time. You know how you just graduated, you get a job in oil. You know how oil and gas was in Nigeria now? I mean, it's still the case now. You'll be feeling on top, you're young, you're going offshore, you're earning good money,
You're meeting Yoruba people and shaking their hands. I used to work with them. So this was the life we were living right that time.
Yeah, then we're married, we were were single. You know me, I was still single, like single, you know.
Hey, guys, don't talk that side.
No, leave that one, Abby. We could just leave that one.
I will tell you that
topic for another day.
I will tell you the story one day. But you know, I had just made a decision at that time. We were dating, we were getting serious that I was going to go and study. Because the previous year I was on vacation in London and I flew to Aberdeen in Scotland and to drop some things for my guy from the banking industry way back. And I was just on the street sitting on a bench and I saw one of my classmates walk by. I said, boy, what are you doing? He said he was studying. I said, boy, I have to come here next year. So when I told Ify that I was going, she said, we are going together.
No, I said, myself, I get plan to go study abroad now. So this will not be say, now only myself, I get the same plan. So it was more like we had the same vision. We had everything. So yeah, together we go.
Oh boy, he was like, I am going. If you want to come, then let's go. So this London thing, I said, look, we're just about to go and apply for a visa. Why are you going to London now? Which kind of London you want to go now?
Why not go London? You don't go come back. It's my turn now.
You see, we the thing. We have find money to feed, go with our school fees and pay it off. And the small one that she want to go and do vacation before we go and apply.
Yeah, I wanted to at least activate my visa, make it not be like say I never traveled before, to get my travel history. So that was my first ever trip to London, and this was a long time ago. I remember at the time we went to, we did all of this. There was no WhatsApp. No, in fact, I think it was just BBN.
That was BBN,
Abi?
The BlackBerry Messenger. That was if you don't have
Facebook,
BlackBerry, man.
Yahoo Messenger, Facebook. We don't owe though. We don't owe. Gosh.
If you don't know what BlackBerry Messenger is, just go and say, I salute you, sir.
Gen Z.
So, we eventually, I put in my paper. She came back.
That's your application for visa. So we both decided, right? And then you were going to study. I can't remember.
I was studying international marketing management for masters.
Mine was project management. Yeah. So
that was my second master's degree. I had a master's in finance from Nigeria. So she was going to do masters in project management. She wanted to go and do oil and gas management, oil and gas. I said, look, you've already become an engineer. Why don't you go and do something else? Eventually she agreed. Today, that decision was one of the best she ever did.
Honestly, like making that decision at the time was the best, because sometimes while you're making that decision on what you want to study, that is another milestone, because you have to find something that ties into what you have already studied in your first degree. And then by the time you eventually decide, then you now start to find out if that that course is still available, you know, at the university.
The point be say, she was an engineer one side. I was a banker. I had seen all sides of every angle. I said, look, babe, you go do this project management. It will be better for you to combine this with your engineering and things will go smooth. You know, can you say thank you, sir?
You try. You try. This kind of thank you. You try. Thank you. You try. Good advice.
So, oh boy, we put in the visa application. She came back from her London. We put in her application.
So yours went in first before mine.
Yes, mine went in
because I had to come back to get my passport to put into my own application.
So, because we're not married, so we couldn't go as joint. So when she came, she put in her own. By then, my own chaplet had been in the water for 1 week praying for this.
Pico, Ejo.
As I'm driving around Lagos, in my mind, it was visa. Ha! You know, I don't know some of you in Lagos that used to know that nightclub at Silverbird called Cubes. That's where we used to go and hang out every Friday after work. My office was close to that place. When they reached Friday, I said, "Hey, can we go to Cubes?" He said, "No, we need to go and continue prayer. I don't know what this means."
Cubes not be where I won't go that time. Oh, it's to go to work and go and pray and put all my requests to God.
So confused, I'm not in a club. So after a couple weeks, I went for my passport, and lo and behold, I had a visa.
Yay!
And then her own anxiety doubled.
I'm telling you, because he had gotten his, I put in mine at a different time. So my own prayer now, and God, I beg.
Mrs. Man, don't get you.
Okay. This guy don't get you.
So eventually, a week later, we got our own visa, and it was good.
That was a very, very happy period for us.
That was just the first basic step. We now started calculating the exchange rate between Naira.
It wasn't too bad at the time, though, but based on what we were earning.
It wasn't too bad. We were earning good money, but still, you're not like
still not enough,
rich or big, but you had some spending change.
And that was the time that school fees was about £15,000, £12,000.
In fact, actually £12,000.
Yeah,
they'll give you like £1,000 kind of scholarship or something if you're paying for yourself. So you end up around 11.
And we're going as international students, so you're basically paying all your school fees out of pocket.
Oh boy, do I buy winter jacket in Nigeria, Yaba? Or do I go to
there are lots of decisions that we had to make at the time, because when you calculate your school fees, you think about the accommodation, you think about your day-to-day living, your expenses, and then you equate that to your salary and your savings.
Do you think now, if you're going to the UK, that you know exactly what will happen when you arrive if you didn't have somebody that you're going to stay in their house? Have you ever thought about that? We had nobody.
Idea, nothing.
Even those my friends I saw when I went the previous year, Nigeria, I lost my phone and I lost their number. There was nothing like WhatsApp that can change and
it's not even easy for people to accommodate you, abroad, because most times people just get what they need. So they don't have that extra, especially as a student. So that was completely out of our options.
So we started looking at things. Okay, we call the school accommodation. Anyway, we couldn't live there together because you have to live like hostel. Men in their own separate area. We couldn't live in the same room, and it was gone. We asked about how do we do rentals. They say, okay, go to this agency, go to that agency. In our head, we say, oh, it's easy. When we go to the agency, we'll get a house, and we'll have some money. So let's go.
We didn't know that there was more to it than just go to agency. Say when you carry your Nigerian mentality, you're thinking renting a house is just about you have the money, you pay, you drop your deposit, and you move in.
No, so
it is not.
Let's say, to cut a long story short about that, we landed.
You landed?
I landed first on a Friday afternoon in the UK. I went to the school with all my load. I went to the registry office. They said, do you have accommodation? I said, I don't. They say, luckily, this Oyibo, they think ahead. They had a big room for storage for if you come in, you don't have a place to stay, you go there and keep your thing, and your thing will be safe.
So this was, just to be clear, so this is in Aberdeen, Scotland.
Yeah.
And the school we actually enrolled into is called Robert Gordon University.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reigning universities at the time. I don't know what university
it was very
popular now.
Engineers,
in the UK.
Nigerians, and everything.
Yeah.
So I dropped my things there with all my hopes that once I rush into the street, I go to the agency, I get accommodation, and I'll go and carry my bag and I'll go there straight.
So finally, we graduated, but looking back, it wasn't easy. I mean, there were times when it was a struggle to even buy all the groceries you want, get your transportation, even call home, because we were using what we call Libera, and it was expensive,
Then we went to Talk. We were always looking for the cheapest one. Sometimes when you're waiting for your, pay to come at the end of the week, you don't have any money, you're struggling, maybe your boss pass has expired, you're managing and
maybe I should just walk to school so that I can save for that day. It was a huge struggle, coupled with school fees. Like, there was just a lot going on, you know, back to back, and it wasn't an easy journey at all. It wasn't. But you know, at the end of the day, we're thankful for everything. The experience even helped to build us to become what we are today.
Made us resilient.
Yes.
And we've applied that to our life here in Canada. You will see, if you're ever trying to do this on your own, try to understand as much as you can real life experience, and then when you get there, you don't get surprised like where it was. The first few weeks was
it was tough. When it was time to pay rent, my God, it was so scary.
Your mind will be hitting. You're thinking of school fees, you're thinking of rent, and you're thinking of the people calling you from Nigeria with all the problems.
And there's a timeline you have to pay it at that time. So the thought of it alone gives us a lot of sleepless nights. It was
a lot of sleepless nights and headaches, but we survived it.
Yeah. So eventually we graduated at the end of the year. It was exciting. In fact, I have my graduation picture here. I can show you guys. It's just behind our flower. If you look over there, you'll see me standing like
a lawyer.
Honestly, with my graduation outfit and everything. There's one thing I didn't even mention, like my skin was
affected when she arrived,
you know, with the whole weather change and the whole environment and everything. My skin was just feeling different. In fact, I don't know.
That was the day I woke up, I saw her looking in the mirror and crying.
Yeah.
Because of her skin problem. That day, I decided that whatever we need to do to get her back to her.
To my natural self.
Natural self was okay.
Yeah, but eventually
it was weather.
Yeah.
When the weather, she acclimatized, everything came back.
Because we haven't experienced winter before, so it was like the first. So everything was just changing. Dry skin, oh my goodness. But yeah.
This is the untold story that you never hear about. The impact on you and your life and the different things.
Yeah, and the experience of working. Sometimes I had 2 jobs at a time, coupled with school. You know, working 2 jobs, sleepless nights. The worst thing that can happen to you
is seeing the bus. You're running to join the bus because they go with time. As you get close, the bus leaves, and another one will come in 15 or 30 minutes, and there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing
you cannot shout and say stop.
And you cannot say you're calling Uber because when you think of the money, there was no Uber self. When you think of the money,
call a taxi brother and sister, forget it.
Yeah, it wasn't easy at all, but
we survived it. By the way, guys, have you ever thought about moving overseas to study, leaving your country, everything you had behind, and to go study in another country? We did that.
Yeah, let's hear your own experience. What were your fears? Like, what were your challenges? And what were the things that you were thinking about even before you made the move? Share that with us.
And you will enjoy our own story.
By the way, my name is Ify.
My name is Emeka.
And we are the nwachukwufamily.
nwachukwufamily. Every time, every day, anytime you want to hear about our family life, our Canada life. But today we're not talking about Canada life at all. We're going to talk about
our UK experience back in the years.